it's not always about your job role. It's about you as an individual.
Young people do that because they want to see how far their social is willing to go.
We have to help these young people prepare for real life.
You know what? There's more to us than just kicking a football and just rapping.
Yeah.
As a black man, I can be educated. What are you saying, people? It's another episode of the Social Worker and the Mentor.
Yeah.
Rob, how are you, man?
I'm not good, you know. But now, listen, I was just telling our guests, I got a flat tire. So I got to fork out £200 now. Like, you know, like, I'm going holiday soon. That could have been...
For holiday thing, innit?
Yeah. Cha. Anyway.
But apart from that, you're all right, though.
I'm fantastic. I'm great. No, I'm great.
Nah,
new
good. Same as well.
New movement. So, yeah, I'm good, you know.
Same as even me going to another new local authority.
Yeah.
New beginnings, new meetings, new people.
That's what I'm saying, man.
But people, before we go straight in, what I want to say is, Rob, we've actually reached 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. We got the 1K.
I know.
Yeah.
You know it's crazy, yeah? See, when we first started this, right, yeah? I always said, I don't care about followers and... I literally, I don't look at followers. I just care about the content.
Yeah.
Because for me, that's what's more important, you know.
Yeah.
Consistent content and the type of content as well, you know. So, I always knew that we'd get followers, but I don't even look.
Yeah, no, I got a notification. I was like, okay, that's really good. So
it takes
time. So guys, thank you so much for supporting myself and Rob. But you know what to do. You continue to like, subscribe and share. We got what do you call it?
No, but hang on a minute. Listen, are you liking the thing? Yeah, because I swear there's like a little...
Yeah, literally, guys, it's going to put out right now, yeah? Right at the bottom of your page, yeah? You like, subscribe, you share. We're on TikTok. We're on Spotify. We're also on Instagram. Oh, and... Bruv. Yep, it's coming. Sorry, man.
Are we keeping you up?
Yeah.
It's coming.
And our thing coming on Apple, isn't it?
Yeah. It's coming, yeah. But listen.
Guys, we've got a very, 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 very special guest in the building today. Somebody who I know you lot regularly see.
She come looking sharp.
Yeah, look
today,
very
you know.
sharp, very formal. I mean, see how she's like this, you know, like relax in it, relax.
The eyebrows are
I can't lie, just
sharp.
because my jeans are too tight. You know when you wash jeans, you ain't worn them in a while.
But guys, we have to introduce our wonderful guest. We have Nikki. Yeah. And Nikki, I'm gonna let you introduce yourself.
No, bro. Round of applause, man.
Yeah. Come on.
You know what I mean, man?
Listen. But Nikki, introduce yourself.
So hi guys, my name is Nikki. This is like a new audience for me, so this is a special one.
Very special.
First of all, I was actually really happy that you guys invited me on, so thank you.
Oh,
wow.
thank you, man.
Welcome.
Really happy. So what do? So I'm a podcaster, presenter, done radio. I've started doing voiceovers now.
Okay.
People know me from doing Laid Bare podcast. People know me from the Borough section on the Shade Borough. And one thing, please, people, I just want to clear something up. I don't run the Shade Borough page. Somebody actually asked me this. I know it's one person that asked me. Well, that's asked me to my face.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, so how many people would actually think this?
Yeah.
It's not you.
Yeah, and I'm just like, no, it's not me. I don't have that
exactly.
time. That's a busy page.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't have time for that. And I'm not just a podcast presenter, but I'm also a growing youth advocate. I'm officially a brand new...
Big up.
Thank you.
Big
I'm
up.
officially, as of June the 14th, a systemic practitioner.
Big up.
Um,
Elevation. I love elevation, you know.
And yeah, I've been working with young people for ever. It's been like that. It's the only career that I know since I left like mainstream school.
Oh, lovely, man. Wicked.
Yeah.
And you know what? This is the reason why, I wanted to bring Nikki on because Nikki actually, she has been following our TikToks, innit? And then I got speaking to Nikki and I was so intrigued about the work that she does. And I thought it was important because it was kind of like, as you said earlier, it's like people see you on the Borough Shade, but there's an other side that people don't
know at all.
don't know about at all. You know, and obviously we see you're on Laid Bare as well. But the other side of it is this side of your work that you do that people don't really know about. And I think for me it's important because I think people are very, very quick to judge.
Absolutely.
Very, very quick to judge. But that's why I wanted people for you to see Nikki, and I want you to hear from her what she does, her professional experience. You know what I mean? Because as podcasters, we're always going to get criticized. But Nikki, tell us about your journey. Where do we start?
Boy, how much time we got?
Listen, we'll do it.
So, okay, so starting off. So when I left school, I went to college. I did childcare in college. And the thing about that is that I was kind of like just pushed into it.
Yeah.
Because I can't lie, when I was going to college, I didn't really understand the concept of college. I didn't know the difference between A-level and B-Tech.
Yeah, you're like me, you know.
I was sleeping in those classes.
Yeah.
Telling us. But then to be fair, when I was in year 11, I did miss almost half of year 11 because I had like important surgery, which kept me off school for ages. So so when I look back on it now, I'm thinking maybe within that time they explained this to us and I just wasn't there. So that's my excuse, guys. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. So I went to go do childcare in college, and every course I did from then was always practical. Right. So from college, the course that I always did 2 days work experience for the 2 years. So I hit the ground running, you know, and I worked in so many different types of settings. Worked in private daycare, children's centres. Then I went to, I did primary schools as well. I went to university. So funny enough, this is how life comes back at you 360.
Yeah.
So when I first went to uni, my main interest was child psychology.
Okay.
So I didn't get into any of the psychology courses. Actually, no, I had one conditional offer from Northampton University.
Yeah.
And then I didn't get in because, again, fun fact, on results day, my results never came.
Oh, really?
Right. They never came.
Nothing came from UCAS or nothing at
all?
My
results never came.
How come?
Because, so obviously I did a BTEC, everything. I had one exam, which I knew I got a C in early on.
Yeah.
So I knew I'd passed the exam, and then everything was coursework based. So I remember in the Easter holidays, my final submission was like this research thing we had to do. And me, my dad and sister, we were stuck in Ghana because some volcano erupted in Italy. And then they stopped. I'm telling you.
And they stopped the flight coming back.
And do you know what? I've never told anyone this story ever, like ever. So they stopped flights coming back.
Yeah.
So we were in Ghana for like I want to say an extra 3 days. And I think the day after we were originally due to get back, that paper was due and I had finished it. So I remember calling my friends in my class, telling my tutor, listen, we're stuck in Ghana. I don't know what day
Yeah.
And then I got my mum to go through like my stuff, get my USB, and then go to my college and give it to my tutor.
Okay.
And now I had 2 copies of that research paper. She took the one that was just briefly edited.
Oh no!
But then she, like my tutor, I really loved the staff at my college. They were amazing, and they actually submitted the right one. So
okay, good.
I ended up going to Goldsmiths to do psychosocial studies. So I went through the whole clearing process, whatever. So, and I had to explain like, okay, where are my grades? So Goldsmiths University, they were so good. I went I was going to say uni, my college, wrote me a transcript with all my grades, everything that I had done. Good. And that this is the date that they're expecting my certificate to come, because everyone got their certificate except for me on that day. So with my transcript, with my exam grades, coursework grades, they gave me a place on the course.
Excellent.
And I said, we thank you, Jesus. And I'm like, I'm going to Goldsmiths University.
And Goldsmith's a good uni, you know.
It's a good uni.
So good uni, even for social. Listen, Goldsmith is a
for social work and teaching, what I know now is great.
It's great,
So, and my dad was so excited because I think, is it Princess Eugenie that was?
Oh yeah.
Uni as well. I think so. When I was in my first year, she was in, I believe, her 3rd year. So my dad was like, you can't leave this uni. You must go because you're going to the same uni as royalty.
Yeah.
So I can't lie, I didn't enjoy the course. So I wanted to go back and do early years, which is what I knew. So I went through clearing again. I went to Anglia Ruskin, finished my whole degree there. And then it was the same type of course. I was doing practical work. I can't lie, my grades started slipping because I was more concerned about getting money to buy bundles as opposed to my studies at the time. So my grades, when I was in my 2nd year, my grades were slipping. But then 3rd year, I was able to pick it back up.
So in terms of like keeping motivated and keeping focused.
Yeah.
Like, how did you find it? Because obviously, like, you know, like when you do a course and then halfway through, I'm not even enjoying this anymore now, yeah? But then you're like, obviously, like, thinking about doing like another course, which is very similar.
Yeah.
How did you maintain that mindset in terms of being focused? But then obviously, do you know what? I don't want to do this no more. I want to do something else. But it's obviously in line with what you're trying to do anyway.
Yeah. So like years later, when I finished uni, like I worked for local authorities. I worked in private settings. I was even like a preschool room leader. But I always knew there was other things that I felt like I was meant to be doing.
Yeah.
So even things like I wanted to explore things like acting and stuff. And I said, do you know, I don't really want to do acting. So I just knew like one thing I loved was radio. And I just loved like radio presenters. Like I had a list of like radio presenters. But then before you do something always has to happen.
Yeah.
So I remember when I was like 24, I started experiencing like depression for the first time. But I didn't realize I was actually depressed until maybe like 2 years later.
Yeah.
And I was just going through it. But then I didn't really have an outlet. So I went through so much. Like I was depressed. I was on medication. I was on all different types of pills. I was taking sleeping pills. And then I think like one day when I was 25, I don't know, it was like a switch that came and I said, I'm going to do things that make me happy.
Yeah.
Then I jumped on Twitter, started like putting my thoughts out there. I'm like, guys, I really want to get into presenting. What do I do? People DM'd me with like, oh, you could go do this, you could go do that. So that's how that really came about. But then at the same time, I've never voiced that to people. So again, you know how people are judgmental, and at that time, when I was 25, that was 6 years ago. No, I'm still 25. She
just quickly bring it back in here.
I'm still 25.
Yeah.
At that time, you know, we're really deep into social media, and I'm thinking, oh, I don't want anyone to just talk crap about me. I don't want to be like, oh, where did this come from? And like, she's forcing it. But this is something I've always wanted to do. So it got the ball rolling. And another thing is, I'm African. How do I now at 25 go and tell my parents I want to be a radio
Why are you not studying? Where's your degree?
When I've never done this before.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true. Innit?
And my dad always wanted me to do a master's, but then I was thinking, a master's in what? Though?
Yeah.
Like, I'm done. Are you?
You don't want to study anymore.
I don't want to study anymore.
Did you? But I think that's quite important though. Culturally, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And professionally, right? Yeah. But did you feel the pressure though? Did you actually feel the pressure from your parents in terms of what you wanted to do?
I'm not gonna lie, listen, bro, me and Nikki are both Ghanaian, so yes, the pressure was there. The pressure is there.
No, because you know,
I
had this conversation with an Asian friend. He's from Bangladesh.
Okay.
And we were saying that what's quite similar is African and Asian communities, right? Yeah. So if you're like from like Bangladesh, maybe Pakistani, African, you know, they're very similar in terms of the parents, like, you know, university,
cultural expectation,
education, right?
yeah.
And a lot of the siblings and children said they do feel the pressure from their parents, you know. So did you have that pressure?
I always just felt like if I didn't finish uni, that's it, I would fail and I would just be a failure. Like my parents weren't the type of parents where it was always like, oh, you must do this or you must do that, but the expectation was always there.
And it's always over your head anyway.
Always
even if
over
your
your
parents
head.
don't go and say it. Is there like, you know what, like you need to be, I've done something, or you need to do well in something.
Absolutely. So yeah, that was always there. But then one thing about I think is more with my dad. My dad would always ask all these questions. Sometimes I'm like, chill out, you don't need to be asking me all of this. I feel like I'm supposed to be doing. But then now that I was gonna say now that I'm older, now that I'm older, like I do understand like where that came from, because we need to think about our parents and where they came from. Like they didn't always have the same opportunities as what we did. So it's like now that they're raising children in like more westernized societies, like okay, we want you to do better, but they don't understand what that pressure could also bring.
So how did you, Nikki, then crossover into, because obviously, as you heard everyone, that Nikki's got a lot of accolades in it. So what was the crossover point for you? Because to be a systemic family practitioner, how do you have that balance and then doing what you're doing for the Borough Shade and Laid Bare? How do you have how did you start? Do you know what I mean? Because that's a demanding course.
It is a demanding course. So it's been a 2-year program and it was optional. So I did the certificate and now I've done I completed the postgrad diploma.
Right.
So the job role, so it was funded by my work. So I work for a local authority. And when I joined that team, so I took this job because I wanted to do youth or youth justice. So youth work of youth justice, because for me, my forte is those kids who are like from secondary school age and upwards.
Teenage.
I've always had a good relationship with those children.
Yeah.
I used to work in school nursing before then, and I always had that good relationship with those kids.
See what I'm saying? People don't know this about Nikki, you know. I'm just saying.
I was in school nursing and health visiting for 4 years.
You was a health visitor and a school nurse?
No, so I was a community nursery nurse, but then because of my experience or what I had before going to that job, I don't know if I should say this, but then I was trusted with a lot of other responsibilities that were not in my pay bag. You know the NHS, everything is about banding.
Banding, it's true.
I was a band 4, sometimes almost expected to do band 6 roles. I would do duty desk. I will go and do like if the health visitors were overwhelmed, I'll support them. School nursing was always overwhelmed, so I would also support. Like I had experience doing call groups. And
you was doing call group meetings.
I did call group,
which is what social workers do.
I did call group. So I already had experience of knowing what call group was, because I'm like, I don't even know what it is. So, and the thing is, there was no training. It was like I was shadowing, and it's like, okay, we actually need people to attend this meeting. You need to go. So I did that. I shadowed at conferences. I went to map meetings. You know, when you're mapping for like So I did all of that, and like my role in the NHS, when I say like I will never not be grateful for what they did for me, they definitely pushed me. Like you have to have a good team doing this type of job. You have to have a good team. You have to have good leaders, and I had that when I was working for the NHS.
Do you feel, because you know, I always say to people, there's always one defining job that sort of like makes or like so when I worked in a PRU or a special needs school, that's what made me. And from there I've gone on to like, so would you say that was the moment where
definitely, because when I walked into that job, I was a spoiled brat. Like I had an attitude because I was immature. I'm open enough to say I was so immature. I felt like I knew everything. You can't, don't teach me. I know. I was like, oh shit, I don't know. You know, and I had that a lot of the time. And then when I actually sat back, and like I said, you need a good team leader. So this lady, I'll say her name. Her name's TT. I love TT so much. She's a band 7 school nurse, and she's a specialist school nurse for criminally exploited children and sexually exploited children. Wow. And when she joined our team, she took me under her wing. Till this day, I still talk to her. I pull up at her house. Like that's how we've become.
You're close.
And when I just opened up to her and my team manager to say, this is what I'm really interested in. Like, I know nursing it for me. I just want to go and do this. And they helped me. So that is definitely like what you said. That's definitely like my career defining.
You've always got somebody in our sector who they will always kind of nurture you. Do you know what I mean? And you've got the person who will nurture you, and actually they can help your career kind of take off and progress. You know, I know, you know, you and we know we've got a lot of mutuals who I know. That's same with me as well. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
I think what I love though, because obviously like normally I'm talking, but I'm just listening to your story.
No, that's what I'm saying.
And I'm really like I big you up, like seriously, like
no, 100%.
Because like when you hear someone's story, because it's like you're doing something, but you're not sure where the journey is going. And you're doing so much different things, right? You're not even realizing you're doing so much different things. But it's like it's taking you there. Left, right, up and down,
left, right,
everywhere. Do you know what I mean?
And just to answer Nana's question early, like how did I juggle systemic? So when I moved from school nursing to the local authority, where I'm still there now, and they introduced this new way of working, and systemic is something that a lot of boroughs are now adapting to, which I think is great.
It's the new way of working,
new job opportunities. Hey,
it's true. No, it's true. But Nikki, could you elaborate on what? Because we know. Could you elaborate on what systemic is, what it means to you as a family practitioner, and why is it so important now to practice systemically? Because you know about science and safety, innit?
Of course.
Which is just very
So systemic practice, so systemic therapy is a therapeutic intervention. So how I will explain it from the view of how I use it in my context. So we use systemic ideas to support families who are going through relational issues. So it's very relationship based. So my specialty at the moment is families and couples. So there are so many different ranges of theory, ideas and approaches that sort of help us practitioners like me help families to dissect their problems and actually naming your problem rather than locating it within a person. So that's where, in the team that I work in, that's where we come in.
Can I put you on the spot a bit? Can you give examples of some theories or approaches? I know some anyway.
So you know what? I'll just use the one I used in my I had to do a presentation which I got a distinction in. So I wanted to put that in. Oh god, I actually cried in front of my whole class when I found out.
No. We need to hear.
Emotional. But so the one thing I love using is systemic, and in my team we use this every week. So the reflecting teams process.
I know about that one, yeah.
So who is the damn theorist? Oh Lord,
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
So the early Milan team are a team again formed in Milan. They were a team of psychotherapists and therapists. So they used to use this method to support young people who actually had eating disorders and how their families were. Maybe I should actually say, looking back on it now, the things that I've read, unable to support them in those eating disorders. So what a reflecting team does is, so you've got the team of therapists, so they will watch the family from a room, and then at one point, let's say they'll watch them for about 10 minutes, stop, come in, share what they've observed with each other, allow the family to listen. And then when they leave the room, let's say after 5 minutes of sharing that, the family use what they've heard
and implement it.
And then implementing their conversation. Again, so that you're not locating the problem within the person. You're actually using the things that you've said to realize, okay, so where did we go wrong? And how can we then put that as an action? So in my current team, we have this every Monday. And so let's say, for example, me, I will present a family that I'm working with. I'll draw out a genogram. Genograms are something I'm still struggling to this day because my drawings are just rubbish. So for anyone listening who's like probably listening for the first time, they're sort of like catching up to what this is. A genogram is basically just say like a flowchart, like a family tree, which outlines like family relationships. Anyway, so there's a family therapist that works in my team. So I'll present the family, who's in the family, what the problem is, what my dilemmas are, and give as much info to my team as possible. So then I step away with my manager, and the team then says they sort of like focus on what they're curious about. And a lot of systemic practice is around curiosity. So that's
it's about appreciative and understanding safety, appreciative inquiry.
Exactly.
All right, so do you know what? Sorry, do you know what it is? Sorry, bro. Do you know what it is? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you, and I'm gonna openly say this. I think for people who come for Nikki, I'm not gonna lie. No. I'm just saying you need to stop because the reason why, no, bro, you know,
don't put the energy out there, you know.
No.
To make them know, you know.
No. Cause what I'm saying is that I'm just saying, like, I'm listening, and my mind is just blown by just your experience and everything.
She's seasoned, bro.
And she's seasoned. And then it's like, I know we're going off, but it's like, you know, like social media, and it's like people like, you can make a judgment of somebody, but then like here, this is a professional.
But Nikki, that's okay though. Let them do the thing.
This is something I've just learned to deal with. At the end of the day, when I step back from a mic or a camera, my real life continues. Like I will never carry my podcasting and presenting different to my work.
Of course, because
you know, we were talking before Nana came. Like, if you're doing something that's not for you, I can't. Like, I will just step away from it. I'm not doing it. Like, you'll have those time periods in your life. You're continuing with something. You're not even too sure. Time is going. Like, we don't have time to waste.
It's true.
It's not for me. But then one thing about me is I enjoy my work. But then at the same time, with some of the stuff that people would know me for, they won't understand how it meshes. But then at the end of the day, it's not for you to understand.
No, it's true.
But do you know, right? So to go off.
I know we go off. But I just had to say it because I'm just saying, I'm blown. It's just like, because we're here as professionals, innit? And it's like we're seeing this professional side that I think people don't of Nick. Do you know what I'm saying? And I just want people to kind of like appreciate the fact that actually, you can see one person in one light, but actually this side here, she's actually doing a lot of hard work that you know, she may not say it, but she's doing hard work. She is. Do you know what it is? Fantastic work.
Do you know what it is? I think like in life, you know, we have a personality, right? And in life, there's a terminology like, you know, go out and get, So people like to be entrepreneurs, right? People like to multitask and venture into like different things, whatnot. But I believe that they in line with sort of like, so example, we're podcasters, okay, all right? Podcasters, you know, it's we talk, we conversate, yeah. It's a form of journalism, right? Yeah. So we can take that into our profession.
Yeah.
So when you're talking to a case now, you're like, they don't know, but it's a form of journalism.
Yeah.
Like, mum, why is there a safeguarding concern? Social worker, is
Yeah,
there
it's
a
what you mean.
is there a child protection order? Why is there protection? You know, talking to the young person. So it's talking skills, interviewing skills.
Absolutely.
It in lines with each other.
Yeah,
as
it
well.
does, yeah.
But then also as well, part of it, like, you know, so as I was saying to you, I like to write scripts. Like I'm getting into filming, you know, but it's something that I want to do. Do you know what I mean? But why can't I not do that? Do you know what I mean?
Do whatever it is that
Could
you
do whatever you want to do.
Like, so when I saw your podcast, I think Nana was a bit shocked to see that I even liked it, let alone commented.
I was like,
He messaged me straight away. He went,
I was like, you're messaging him us.
He was like, are you not the girl from the shape? I looked at my phone. I was like, so.
Yeah, no, but I'm thinking, wow, like, of all those podcasts, I was like,
nah, do you know what he's thinking? I'll tell you what he's thinking. He's thinking, rah, is she gonna say something messy enough?
No.
Because when you hear the word shade, it's like,
no, but
it's
when
just that platform, people will just think, oh, if you're doing that, like, it's like what we're saying now, it's very separate. So sometimes you might not see how people are intertwined with other things.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, so that might have been what it was.
And that's
for
the opinion,
you.
isn't it?
So when I saw two guys talking, so I was going through TikTok and I was scrolling quite quickly. I think I was probably just like sitting down or something.
Yeah.
And then I saw the caption, it was something around the MASH team. Then I came back and I was like, what? I was like, what are these two guys talking about? Like, what? And then when I saw the name of the podcast and I was listening, I said, this is like, I've never seen like a show for this type of field. So I was thinking, this is such a sick idea. So I commented and Nana was like, but you're that girl.
that's what I was thinking. I mean, you're not from the sick. I was like,
I thought it was so funny. He was like,
yeah.
but,
And then when Nikki told me, I was like, I called her, I was like, I said, no, let me to speak. And Nikki, I was like, you do this, you do this.
Yeah.
I was like, raw. Do you know what I'm saying? But anyway, back to the thing. Sorry, it is sorry. But we said about appreciative inquiry and the systemic,
So in my field, just in a nutshell, that's an example of how we use systemic practice. And the things that I take from that reflecting teams process. So when the team feedback, we sort of like make a mini action plan and go right. With this said family that I've presented, the next two sessions, I'm taking such and such point and I'm exploring it with those families.
Okay,
And like with the families I work with, there's so many different levels of complexities.
Yeah.
So
are they mainly child protection plans, child in need?
Mix. So we've got LAC, CP, SIN. Some of them are early help and they've self-referred to universal services.
Yeah.
Right.
And because of like the issues that have been stated, they've been referred to our team.
Yeah.
Okay. We're an edge of care service.
So
Okay. So when do you intervene? So you know your edge of care. So is it with what you're doing?
Yeah.
So is it whereby, okay, so you mentioned CP SIN. If they're LAC, is it that the children are looked after, already accommodated, and you're doing the work for them to rehabilitate back home?
Unify.
Okay, right.
Yeah. So when it comes to doing that, I'm just like,
yeah.
are you guys sure you want to do that?
Yeah.
You know, most of the time with the LAC children, it has worked out well because some of the young people, they should remain looked after because their new settings, their new carers are actually providing so much for them. But then what we try to do in our team is that I always use this example whenever I go to a new family. I'm not expecting you to have Sunday dinner together tomorrow and you're going to be laughing, kiki, and braiding each other's hair. You're not the Brady Bunch. Right?
Yeah.
If you guys can have some sort of effective communication, if it lasts for a couple of minutes, then I've helped you in the best way I can. And you need to take what we've talked about and what you've heard and run with it.
Yeah.
So like suppose in all of our line of work, I deal with a lot of families that break down, a lot of families that separate. You know, very often, you know, dad's not seeing the children. There's a breakdown where mum and dad don't talk with each other. How often are you dealing with them sort of issue? Because I know like someone like myself, and I know the particular local authority that I work for right now, I don't really hear your approach, and that needs to be.
It needs to be embedded across all local authorities.
All local authorities. For me, it should be compulsory, basically.
Something that they're working on. I know that.
Should be compulsory. So, how are you dealing with them sort of families? Because as we know, you know, children are being affected by not being able to see dad, or they've broken up, or whatnot. So, how are you dealing with them particular sort of families?
So the first thing that like we need to remember is that they're referred by the children. So of course the children, the child or children are the main points of the intervention. If there's a breakdown in relationship with mum and dad and it's affecting the child, it's sort of like, a whole family approach, but then is also child-centered.
Yeah.
We talk about those different approaches, but you'll see how easily they merge into one another. So in our team, that's what we would use. Yes, mum and dad are fighting. Yes, mum and dad's DV. Yes, dad might move out or like in the middle of the intervention, because that's happened before.
Yeah.
I've worked with families where mum and dad are in the same house, they're not even speaking. And the children are just tiptoeing. But then, especially as adults, they need to come out of this thing of what we're doing is affecting the children. But then at the same time, it's not to minimize what has happened, because what's happened is clearly important and is affecting them in a grave way. But then the children are the reasons why you are now known to the service, because it's having an effect on them.
Go on.
So, I mean, I think that approach would be great also in schools. Obviously, like you worked in a school as well, right? Yeah. Because especially like behaviour schools, like a PRU or an alternative provision, even special needs school, right? Yeah. And I think there's a lot of children with a lot of EBD, ASD, autism, Asperger's, whatever, whatnot. And obviously, it's their emotional understanding where they just struggle, don't they? Right? Yeah. Like, you know, they struggle. So, do you feel it would benefit, you know, that approach being taught in the schools?
Absolutely, because even though my specialty is families and couples, so that's what I've just finished in.
Okay.
But then, so I did my course at the Institute of Family Therapy, and
you did it there?
Yeah, I did.
Did the LA pay for you?
Yeah, of course they did.
Boy.
They also
that's good, you know. Right.
I know those accolades. I'm just like, whew, let me just wear them.
because you know when because you know the institute. It's like because I'd say
Nikki's a bad girl. You know?
No, I'm saying no because you know what? No, do you know what?
No, wait. That's for Nikki.
Yeah,
that's for Nikki, boy. That's for Nikki, boy.
Yeah,
Nikki's serious.
No, because but you know what it is, because like there's certain institutes. So like even like for example, the Tavistock, innit?
Yes.
If you do your training at a Tavistock, like the thing is, like there's some social workers, and what it is when they do their training, like they're training at the Tavistock, so the way they practice is different to like your standard social worker. So the same with family therapy. If you get into the institutions, like the way you work, you can break cases down because sometimes social workers in local authority were kind of like that.
Very tunnel vision.
Yeah, tunnel vision.
No,
whereas like
one track mind.
Whereas like other social workers or even like family therapists, when they come in, it's like they see like, nah, there's a route here, there's a route here, there's a route here. No, you know what? You're on this route. You've come out the tunnel. You're still going straight.
Right,
no,
okay.
try this, try that, try this. That's big, you know.
Yeah,
that's big.
So because like you mentioned the Tavistock, I would love to do my year 3 and 4 at Tavistock.
Tavistock, yeah.
That's like those. So anyone that does do systemic will know it. If you do it at Tavistock, you're like the bad bee of family.
You are, bro. You are.
You're the bad.
You are. Yeah.
So, oh my God, I'm thinking I would love to do it there, but then I have to apply next year now.
Yeah.
So my cohort, I don't know. There's been so many things happening like business wise with like Tavistock and IFT and whatnot.
Yeah.
So some of us who are interested in year 3 and 4, we have to apply for the next academic year.
Would you go into social work?
You're waiting to ask me that.
Yeah, I've been waiting to ask Nikki that all time.
Would I go to social work? I don't know. I would. Okay. I see what it could
Nikki, it's not gonna say no, you know. It's all right. Would you not qualify?
I would. I feel like I could do it because I know the path I'd like to go down right now. Social work would help me out. But at the same time, I've enjoyed this way of working. Doing interventions where I'm just like, I could just stay there. But then I do feel like with social work, I will have the best of both worlds. Because most of the tutors on my program, even people who work in my local authority, they've been social workers and they've done their systemic training. Some of them have even gone and done years 3 and 4. That's like the family therapist that works in my team.
But to be fair though, if you are a social worker and you are doing it, it actually makes sense.
It makes sense, it does make sense,
you know.
Because the social workers that I work with, some of them have just started, they're about to go on to year 1 in September, and then I'm like, do it, it's great, like it's all good doing it. So I can't, I'll see. I will weigh up the two. That's something that I have thought about. So I feel like when it's time to do the applications, I'll weigh up to the two and let God decide
what to do. Yeah.
Quick question. Caseload. Have you got like a heavy caseload, or what about allocations? So
in my team, we're spoiled compared to social workers where you lot are juggling Do you know what? Some local authorities, you're supposed to have like, let's say 25 families. Some of you are really taking like 38.
Yeah. It's true.
Is that extreme?
Yeah,
but
it's
then
true.
For us, it's 10 max.
Oh, you're good
Right.
to go.
10, pardon. Listen.
You're good to go.
10 max. And
But the
our
referral,
interventions-
but even though the referrals that
Yeah.
their team will get,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
Because like I'd say the work that Nikki does is quite key because the social worker is not really going to have that time to do that direct work.
Yeah.
Whereas I think with your
And they're weekly
team,
interventions as
yeah,
well.
weekly, yeah. Whereas your team, you'd have the opportunity to go in to try and do that piece of work.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, no, okay, so 10 for me that's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because for me, it's like, you're able to give them 10 families the high standards because it's 10 and it is manageable, to be honest.
Yeah,
with
it
you.
is.
But do you find it manageable though? Or are the type of cases
It
or families
depends.
quite intense?
It depends because especially when you get like your CP families,
Yeah.
oh my God.
Yeah.
They can come with a lot, like especially when you've got the young people who are known to go missing quite regularly.
Yeah.
That really hinders your
Yeah.
intervention. So with those types of families, yeah, that can make it difficult. But I can't lie to you, I just stick my neck out and do it anyway.
Yeah.
There are certain things I always get told, but it's not your role. Okay, so who was gonna do it?
Yeah.
It's true.
Who was gonna do it? If I know how to follow certain protocols, especially when it comes to safeguarding, who are you then to tell me it's not my role?
It's not your
Exactly.
role, yeah.
I'm a professional who knows my protocols, my procedures. If I'm recording something down, I can also act on it as well.
Of course.
And one thing about me, I always keep my communication very clear. So I love the social workers I work with. Listen, I will text them, we'll email, we'll do this. I will arrange the joint visits when they might not even think there needs to be a
that's
joint
fantastic.
visit.
That's good.
Because
That's good, man.
I'm thinking we all have to have our backs covered at the end of the day.
100%.
And
Yes.
that's also to make sure we're all doing the right
Yep.
thing. Because sometimes you could be working with a family, you might have missed that one small thing where you're like, no, this intervention needs to close here.
See, we
There's
just
actually
Yeah.
no room for this.
see
Yeah.
our last episode on teamwork. See it there?
Yeah, no,
Prime
I know.
example, it's a prime example.
No, I know, and Nikki's right. And what I like to hear is that Nikki's is your viewpoint is safeguarding is everyone's responsibility.
Everybody's responsibility.
Yeah.
Everybody. Like, I can't lie. I'll be one of those people. If I see a child getting bullied, I'm calling 999.
No, that's good.
I'm not joking. I will call 999.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I will slow down. I will shout at them kids from my car. Be like, leave him alone.
Yeah.
No, but it's good though.
Like,
No, but it's good though. It's really, really good. It's really, really good. So, what's next for you? So, you've done your family. What's apart from social work? If you do go into it, what will be your next step in terms of your career?
Is definitely developing my workshop. So in 2021, I had my. In
No,
2021
wait, Nikki. Yeah. I've done the right side now.
Yeah.
So in 2021, I developed my own workshop because, again, I really wanted to go into youth work, youth justice, like to do more one-to-one. It was more type of mentoring, actually.
Right.
So, again, I wasn't getting the jobs only because of having caseload experience. So hence why I'm in my role that I'm in now.
Okay.
And I literally said, the only way this is going to work is if I make my own job.
Yeah.
So during lockdown, and I did this in my workshop as well, I had one small piece of paper underneath my bed. I took it, started writing all these different bullet points, like what would I do, what would I talk about, what's the main important thing, jumped onto my PowerPoint,
Wicked.
did PowerPoint.
Yeah.
It wasn't the most aesthetically pleasing, but I did it. It was
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
No.
And it was aimed at health and social care and early year students because that's my
lovely.
background.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I'm thinking, if I'm going to do this,
Yeah.
I don't have a team. It's literally just been me by
Yeah.
myself. So let me start off where I know, where I feel confident and see
Yeah.
how it goes. So I did the first one after sending emails for weeks. And I did it after I moved out as well. So when I left home, just when lockdown was easing-ish.
Yeah.
And then when I moved into my own place, then I was like, I'm going to start this. So who was the first college? Leighton Sixth Form.
Okay.
Shout out to Leighton Sixth Form because they gave me
East London. Is it East London? Yeah, East
Yeah,
London.
East.
So like they gave me my first opportunity to do it, and
Okay.
should I say I did it for? Can you cut this out just in case? Because I don't know if I should say how much. Because I did it for free. So the first one was for free.
Yeah.
So I did the first one.
You can't be doing that again for free, you know.
Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't do it the next
Oh,
time.
I was about to say.
Are you joking? I'm using my annual
Oh
leave,
no, you have to.
yeah. So
No,
then
cost of living.
Don't you get me started. So I asked them if I could pilot it. I sent it to the email to a bunch of colleges, and I genuinely wanted to work with all those colleges.
Yeah.
So late in sixth form got back to me. They said, great.
Fantastic.
But then we had just gone back into lockdown.
Right. Okay.
So
the second time, isn't it?
This was the second time. So this was it 2020? Yeah, it was early 2021. It was February, I believe. And they said I can do it virtually. I said no problem. Even
fantastic.
better.
From home.
I created my own feedback forms, everything.
Oh, lovely.
I didn't know how to do half of this stuff, so a lot of it was me Googling.
Self-taught.
I did it, and oh my God, I did the biggest happy dance in my living room because I was like, I did something.
Oh,
I
wicked.
did something.
That's nice, man.
And the young people were happy with it. I did it, I think, with 3 different classes.
Okay.
Online.
Okay.
And I was like, no, look at me. I woke up to do this. I woke up mad early.
And you've done it.
I wasn't even hesitant to wake up early.
Yeah.
And I felt great.
Self-belief.
That's great, man.
And I said, I have to do this again.
Yeah.
So when I got the feedback form, the first round of feedback was 89% that they found it satisfactory.
That's really good. That's
and I
fantastic.
said, that is sick. So I didn't even know how to pull it onto Excel and whatnot.
Yeah,
I managed to do it in the end. So it took me like a good week or two to realise like the satisfaction rate from the students. And then I went to B6 college in Hackney.
Yeah.
So I did it face to face, and they gave me I think 4 or 5 classes that day.
Fantastic.
So the face to face thing, how was that?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I felt alive. I said, this is my life.
And that's what you want to do.
That's how I felt.
Yeah,
I said,
yeah.
this is my life. Like these young people, like you see at first when young people see like a guest, they're like, who is this?
It's another one, isn't it?
Who is this? And then I remember I did the paper activity. So you see how I told you I found the piece of paper under my bed? I gave them all a piece of paper. I said, fold it in half. I want you to do it the same way I did it. And I said, as you're going, any ideas, write it down. But of course, jot down things from my PowerPoint. And then when I did their feedback, it was like 93% of them enjoyed it. And they did want me to come back.
That's wicked, you know.
But then I stopped. Only because my systemic was about to start. And I can't, like, at that time, I was thinking, right, there's too many things happening. I don't know how to manage everything.
Right, okay.
So I put it on hold. But then I'm happy I got the feedback of those colleges. So I've got the evidence to say I've done it, whatever. I started my Instagram page, my TikTok page, but I am bringing my workshop back. I'm trying to work on it as much as I can. I've got so many new ideas. So within the next couple of months, I hope to be doing my workshop face to face.
That's excellent.
I want to do an event for young people. I want to get them into like volunteering projects.
That's really good.
I don't like young people thinking that they can't do anything. I was saying I work in the children's residential. I was saying it to Rob before you came. And the young people there, they want to do something. Yes, they have their troubles. They've got the things that they need to work
But more
through.
times they want to do something positive.
Want to do something. And not everything is a job for them or education. Unfortunately, I don't really like that. I want them to go and do their GCSEs.
Sometimes it's just like getting out the ends and doing something.
But then sometimes they can't bring themselves to do it. But then if they're not doing that right, so what can we do without shoving the things that they don't want to hear down their throats? Because you also sometimes you have to bring yourself to their level, you know?
No, you do.
You do.
That's what I wanted to ask
That's
you.
80% of the time.
That's what I wanted to ask you, Nikki, as well, because in terms of your work, when you work with the young people, and you say, I know you said you work with the parents, and you've also worked with the young people, bringing them down to your level. How important is that as a family therapist in terms of your work, when your direct work with the young people? How important is it, and your relationships with them? Because from what I'm hearing, you've got a really, really, really big passion, but how important is your relationship with the young people, particularly in your role?
It's like a million times, like, it's so important. I can't even imagine. And that's how I know I'm going to move on to a role where I'm going to be doing more direct stuff with young people.
Yeah.
Because these young people are not being heard.
No, they're not.
Some of them are having these relationship
100%.
issues.
Yeah.
That's why these referrals are being made to my team.
100%. Yeah.
Purely because they're actually just not being heard. So even though I'm doing a family intervention, if I'm that ear, like just for like 10 minutes at the end of the session when they want to stop me by my car when I'm going home, I will stand there.
Yeah.
Even though it's almost 7 o'clock and I need to be at home because I'm going to get stuck in traffic on the A13. I will listen for those 10 minutes.
That's direct work.
I will record that. Like there are some times where I went to a LAC review for a young person, and this young person, like, they're just so down, like they're so hopeless, like they could want to do something, but they're so used to being like, you can't do this, you don't have time for this. Rejection, not just from their family system or their previous family system, but then also outside as well. So again, it's not my role.
Yeah.
But then during the LAC review, she was like, oh, I would want to go back to college. I would want to do this. I started giving her pages of Instagram pages that I know, saying, oh, this person does like private youth workshops.
Yeah.
You can just DM them on Instagram, go do this. Because if I know this, why am I not sharing this
And
information?
look at that.
Is it because it's a family intervention? But this young person is sitting in front of me and other professionals saying, this is what they want to do. I should keep my mouth shut and not give them ideas. And I find that ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the type of person, I will do that.
Yeah.
And
the thing is, Nikki, I think it's good because I think sometimes as like, you know, as professionals, it is about thinking outside the box. And what you're saying is, if you know a link or you have a connection, why not give that to that young person? If you know, because more time, like that young person may go and say, you know what, I remember when Nikki actually got this for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I hold on to that. And sometimes, guess what, young people, they need. They need that.
Yeah.
And you know, Nikki, the work you're doing after hours is commendable.
Yeah, sure.
To be sitting in your car, that is direct work for me. I say to social all the time that direct work, and particularly in local authority, we get stuck in thinking direct work is just about maybe going and sitting down and getting a young person to do
the appointment
paper.
that's in your calendar, basically.
Yeah. And sometimes it's about, you know, going outside the box. You know, maybe take, like my young people when I used to work with them, I would take them football, I'd do table tennis with them. That was my way of doing it. And I record it as a visit, you know, because more times a young person's going to speak to me if I'm kicking the ball with them or doing table tennis or taking them out to eat, rather than me coming and sitting down.
And the thing is, this is me not having any shot, because now I think sometimes I'm having a shot. I was having a convo actually with my auntie, she's a social worker. And I was saying to my auntie, the thing about social work sometimes, it's too office based. Yeah, like we're not. Yeah. It's like an office-based job.
Yeah,
it is.
Right? And unfortunately, the reason why maybe at times there's not enough interaction, and you're right, is because it's too office-based. We're not back at university, you know. Yeah, right. Every minute you got write. It's too much writing.
But then also, bruv.
But as like, it is important that you got to do the write-ups, whatever, whatnot. But I just feel like it's too office-based.
Right.
And like last week, I got a couple of cases, and I worked with some social workers, and they were supposed to do joint visits with me, and they couldn't come because now, Rob, I've got too much write-ups to do.
Yeah.
Thinking, right, like what? So then it's
also
like,
remember, in a lot of teams right now, I think across maybe the UK, there's a lack of social workers. There's not enough social workers for the amount of things that are happening. So they're overwhelmed by those things as well.
But I also think, do you know what? One thing a lot of local authorities don't have is Nikki, what you do, they haven't got a lot of that embedded into local authorities.
No, they don't.
Family therapy, they don't. And sometimes it's kind of like we're looking for, you know, CAMS will be a whole different thing. But I'm saying, but sometimes we're looking for that service. And actually, I only know a few local authorities that have. Because I know you're the local authority, you told me you work at, but
there's not a lot.
But it's not a lot. And to answer you, if you had a family therapist, systemically trained like Nikki, in a local authority for, you know, as part of your team.
Actually, sorry for cutting you.
Go on.
Someone said to me that there's only 7 boroughs that do your work.
Do you know how crazy that is?
Yeah. And there's how many boroughs? There's like 33 boroughs.
Right. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
I mean,
and there's only 7.
Yeah. No. Seriously.
It's crazy.
Someone told me there's only 7 boroughs that actually do what you do.
But and the boroughs that I think the boroughs that have it, I'm going to say budget and stuff, but the boroughs that have it, a lot of it they've got the money to. But I'm saying this is where the gap is because Nikki's work is early intervention. More time you have a family therapist who comes in if a case is on a CP plan or child in need plan. And they do that joint piece of work with the social worker. More times, actually, you can stop the case from progressing or going further. Do you know what I mean?
And that's the whole point.
But then another thing as well, right? Yeah, is who's this person? Like, do we need a
more professional?
No. Seriously, sometimes because sometimes with some local authorities, and me and Nana say this all the time, right? I feel some. And this is me not taking shots to any. I'm not mentioning no names, but I feel some local authorities, they're still a bit behind in terms of their ethos and you got to keep up with the times. Right. Like we're in 2023 now, like we're not in 2010 or 2021 or 2017. It's 2023, and sometimes the way we go about our ethos or changing things. Like you're quite an important part, because for me, as Nana said, right, it should be compulsory that every borough does what you do.
I think so.
Every borough.
I think so. And another thing as well is I remember I was having a clinical supervision with the clinical lead for systemic in the borough I work in, and my line manager. It was part of my program. We had to have these supervisions, and she asked me like, "Where do you see this going?" Even though I didn't really think about it, but it took me a second to answer that, and I said, since I joined this local authority and the borough I work in, it is predominantly a white British borough.
Right.
When I've worked with black families, black African families, I've had more black African families as opposed to black Caribbeans, but it's how the work goes because Africans, first of all, social services don't exist in our bubble. Second of all, we don't talk to anybody about our problems.
Bruv, she's right.
Yeah?
Bruv, she's right.
Problems don't exist.
It's true.
Right? If you have a problem, it's your problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, it's true.
But
It's
then
true.
the work I've done with families who I can have those connections with have been some of my best experiences.
Yeah.
Because you see the people who were willing to do the work from the beginning and it ended as a successful intervention. The people who were reluctant and it ended successful. And also the examples of when it always goes great. The people who will ignore you, I will come to their doorstep. They're not opening. They will shout at you from their window.
Yeah. Hey.
It all adds up in my mind and I'm thinking, first of all, the fact that we're adapting this way of working, which is new, because like you just said, I didn't know it was only 7 boroughs across London that are doing it. But then for me, if I break it down, that work with those families is very important to me.
Very.
Because if this wasn't happening, again, them kids ain't got a voice. The parents are not reflecting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And in our culture, that's something that's very important. We need the people who are above us, like the elders.
The elders,
They need to start reflecting.
100%.
Oh my
They
gosh.
need to start reflecting.
Nikki,
Yeah, it's true.
please say that again. Listen, we're both Ghanaian. I don't care.
Listen, I was thinking, where's the camera? Our African aunties and uncles, mums, dads, grandparents,
Yes.
and granddads, even the godparents, and the aunties that have no business telling off your children when they show up at your house randomly. You need to start reflecting because when I have actually seen this take place, it's actually some of the most beautiful things I've ever witnessed.
Yeah.
Imagine I've seen a girl like, I can't remember how old she was, like mid-teens. I'm doing life story work with her mum and she's there listening. She's like, right, like, I didn't know that this is what this is how you grew up. And it's the fact that they're actually able to connect off that. And it led into a conversation which led to the change.
You hear that?
Remember,
Life story work, bro.
Do you know what's quite interesting? And I think this is definitely going to be another topic for another day, right? Yeah. You see the word family, yeah. Because I feel professionally, families are broken.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. I feel the ethos and the meaning of family is broken.
Yeah, and the system, bruv.
And really and truly, what does family mean?
Right, what does family mean?
Yeah.
Right. During COVID, I said it's probably another conversation for another day. But during COVID, it was the first time that I checked on family a bit more because I'm always working, and I found out so much things I wasn't even aware of. I'm like, rah, but family and you're right, aunties and uncles, and sometimes they're so. Like, we're not in 1980, are we? Or 1972.
2023, bro.
Do you know where I'm coming from, right? You're like, no, you need to keep up with the times, auntie or uncle or even mum. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, mum,
dad,
listen,
it's true.
You understand everything. Yeah. So, but listen.
You know what?
Yeah.
This episode's been amazing.
So Nikki's a problem,
Yeah.
No, Nikki's major.
I want to absolutely thank Nikki.
Nikki's
and what you've brought has been it's been reflective. I feel like I had reflective supervision with you. No, I'm not gonna lie. I feel like I've had reflective supervision.
It's been amazing.
It's been amazing. Guys, I want you to follow Nikki. Yeah. Actually, guys, listen. Right now, you should see all our ads. You see it right here. Yeah. I want you guys to follow Nikki. Yeah. She does fantastic work. And it's just to say, don't judge a book by its cover, man. Nikki, honestly,
I want to say this: keep striving,
keep striving,
keep being great.
Thank you.
Keep winning,
keep doing your thing.
Right. Keep making sure that the journey is amazing. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I'll do my best.
Honestly, and I also think, Nikki, I really want you when you have time on your own podcast. I want you to start not plugging, but talking about what you do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've just written like a new show plan for So Nikki podcast. I haven't done So Nikki podcast in almost a year.
Yeah.
Because again, I'm tired.
But you're gonna do it soon.
But you're gonna do it soon, yeah.
But
Nikki,
do it soon.
Yeah,
you do it soon.
Yeah.
But guys, thank you. You know what to do. You like, subscribe, you share. This episode's gonna be mad.
Mad
But
thing.
you'll see us soon, yeah?
Mad.
All right.
Nice.